Waiting for Donnie. Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Ken?
What's up, Captain? How you been?
I'm all right. How about you? How you feeling?
I'm all right, kid.
Yeah, I'm making it through.
Say what?
I said you're making it through.
Yeah, well, you know about my accident, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, buddy.
Dude,
Bad.
came out of that fucking thing alive, bro. Shit's crazy.
Yeah, NIST got to do an investigation on that truck.
Maybe you'll actually get some fucking answers, fucking scumbags.
All right, buddy. Listen, I'm like, you know me, dude. You're my boy, dude. I've known you forever. I'm not even trying. I just love debating this conspiracy,
Oh,
and I couldn't think of.
that's why when you were like, "Oh fuck," I'm not trying to like come out. I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm not even taking it that way." You know what I mean? I don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, what are you more knowledgeable in, 9/11 or JFK?
I mean, I could go either way. To be honest with you, I've done a lot of reading on both of them. Even Oklahoma City, fucking '93 bomb, World Trade Center bombing. I've done a lot of research on all of them. To be honest with you,
Okay, do you think Oswald is completely innocent?
completely innocent? No. Do I think he was a patsy? Yes. Do I think he was working with the CIA? 1,000%.
Do you think he fired any of the shots?
No, I don't.
All right, let's hit this. Let's hit up JFK real quick, then.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
All right, all right. So so okay. Who do you not know who you got? Who shot the president?
Do I not know who shot him?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't think anybody knows who shot him. I think I honestly think that he was being driven into what most people and most military people would talk about as a killing field. Um, he
Triangular,
driving
triangular.
ambush. He wasn't making it
Huh?
plaza regardless.
Okay.
You know, um, I think Oswald was just a fucking patsy. To be honest with you,
But
it.
I'm definitely convinced that he wasn't. I think he was lying when he said that, obviously. But
What do you what evidence would make you think that he was the lone shooter or even a shooter during that day?
okay. Um, okay. He brought a package to work.
Which nobody seen what was in it.
No, but he told the guy that drove him to work that they were curtain rods.
Right.
Okay, so you know all about this shit, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, um, if those were curtain rods, there was no curtain rods ever found in that building. Second of all, he didn't need curtain rods put up in his um, rooming house.
Yeah, but I mean that.
So
I don't think that's. I think that's a little bit of a stretch to use that as causality, though.
no, no, I got way more. I'm just saying.
No, I know
We do know that Oswald owned a Mannlicher Carcano, right?
the one that he supposedly bought out of a magazine.
Yes.
Um,
He I mean, you got to admit he did own the gun.
I'm not. I would never deny it. But here's a question for you, right?
Yeah,
You will admit that Oswald was a highly trained, top secret official for the United States military, correct?
absolutely not.
What do you mean? Absolutely not.
No, I don't. I completely disagree with that.
Seriously?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. You need to do some reading then. And I don't
Oh, no, no.
think so.
I'm deep into it, dude.
It has come out in recent years that he was actually one of the guys that was given all the all the flight data to the B-2 bomb to the B-2 that was flying up over Russia to take pictures of Russian installations. He was stationed.
While he was based in Japan,
Yes,
Kasugi Air Force Base.
I'm not sure what the name of the Air Force.
Yeah, there is no substantial evidence saying he gave that information.
That he what?
I don't know where you got that evidence from, but there is no evidence saying that he was giving them tips about the U-2 plane.
I didn't say he was giving anybody tips. All I said was that he was working on that top secret program.
He was working on that base.
In that top secret program with the U-2. I said B-2, I know. I meant to say U-2.
Yeah. Okay, so where do you come up with that he was working with in the top secret unit over there or whatever?
It was one of the papers that came out recently within the past 3 or 4 years.
What? From what? The archives?
Some of the archives and a couple of things that got declassified that actually put him in the proper places. If you want, I'll figure out where the information is and send it to you.
Yeah, I would like to see that. Okay, so you don't disagree that he owned that rifle, right?
What'd you say?
You don't disagree that he owned that rifle,
No.
right?
Oh, with the whole thing said about the U-2, right? My point in bringing that up was anybody who's diligently efficient enough, and has the ability to even work on a base like that, right? Do you really think he's gonna be stupid enough to order a fucking rifle out of the back of a magazine, have it sent to him, even if it isn't a fake name, when you could just go down to the corner store and not even have to give an ID to buy a rifle?
I do think he was stupid enough to do that.
You're talking about a dude that was prolific in Russian, self-taught, scored amazingly high on all his military tests.
Yeah, qualified as a sharpshooter. Yeah.
Even I'm talking even like his written tests and everything that he had to take. He was a very, very smart. It just seems a little weird that he would do something that would lead right back to him.
Well, obviously he didn't think it was going to lead right back to him because he did it under an alias.
But the simple fact that you would have no need to, why even have that paper trail, Mike, if you don't need to?
When he bought the rifle, he wasn't buying it to shoot the president.
Yeah, but why, when you had the accessibility to get those guns with such ease at that time, and especially in Texas, why would you, if you decided, if on Wednesday you bought that gun with no intention of shooting the president, and on Friday your mind completely changed, why would you use a gun, even if you bought it under an alias that there's an actual paper trail from, when you could just go down the corner store and buy a gun for fucking $15 and walk away from it? It's not like there was cameras back in those days.
Exactly, which is why I think they had no problem. The handwriting experts already concluded that the writing on the mail order slip that he sent in, the money order, is his writing. It's his writing. He ordered that rifle.
I'm not saying he didn't.
Okay, so he ordered. Okay, so you're saying he did order the rifle?
Yeah, I would have no problem saying, my whole issue with the rifle thing is why would you use a gun that could even possibly be traced back to you with that sort of ease? You're killing the president. Like, you're going to take every precaution.
No, he didn't need to take those precautions at the time because he had no intent on killing the president when he ordered that rifle.
I understand, but once you made that decision to kill the president, why wouldn't your intention be to do it in a manner that there's going to be no ties back to you?
My only answer for that would be because he had an alias. That's regardless. He had that. We both know he had that rifle.
Right.
We both know that he brought a package to work that day.
Correct.
In a long paper bag.
Okay.
And like you said, no one really knows what was in that package, but he did bring a long package into that building.
Right.
his rifle was not at the Payne's house where it usually was. So obviously someone took the rifle out of the house.
You don't know who that was.
No, but it was taken out of there, and he comes into work that day with a long package, and then he takes shots at the president, leaves work, the only one to do so. His rifle's found on that sixth floor.
You do know the first police officer that got up there actually said that it wasn't a Carcano, right? That it was a Mauser.
Mauser, yeah. Yep.
And you do know that that police officer was like a champion shooter.
Was a what?
Was basically a champion shooter. Knew his weaponry extremely well.
Yeah, and I've also heard that specific officer say that the reason why he said it was a Mauser is because that was basically lingo for a bolt action rifle.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can watch videos on it. Yeah, I know that's open to be watched if you want to. But yeah, they did see, initially he said, yeah, it's a Mauser, but once they pulled it out, they could tell it wasn't a Mauser,
Yeah,
obviously.
tell right from looking at the rifle stock itself that it wasn't a Mauser.
He said it was a Mauser when it was still tucked in between those boxes, not when it was pulled out.
Yeah, but even the entire rifles, both those rifles are completely different.
Not really.
Yeah. For somebody that knows that weaponry, yeah, they are.
It's a bolt action rifle.
Doesn't mean the aesthetics are the same.
Okay, okay. I guess I can concede you that.
You know what I mean?
But okay, so Oswald takes these three shots, which I believe.
So
He misses the first.
here's my. I just want to stop you real quick. Oswald's going to take 3 shots at the president, right?
Yeah,
Why would he wait for the car to come around the bend when he had a straight on shot and would have been way.
on Houston Street
What would you say?
when he had a straight on shot on Houston Street
Yeah.
because all the Secret Service eyes are facing straight at that building.
Yeah, but if you want to kill the president, why wouldn't you just kill him? That shot, for all intents and purposes, to make those 3 shots that he took, that was more dangerous to take those than to take one good shot from a little ways inside the building when the president was dead on at you.
But he already had his sniper's nest set up to shoot from Elm Street, to shoot down Elm Street.
I just, I, so I just,
Now, the bullet fragments and the pristine bullet, which people love to say is pristine, it's far from pristine. All those bullets,
what
the
was
striations of them, lead to Oswald's rifle to the exclusion of all other weapons.
that means absolutely nothing.
That means that those bullets were fired from that gun.
Those, you're gonna have to send me that because I've never once seen that. As of the, so you're telling, wait, for that to have occurred, you're telling me you do believe the magic bullet theory?
I don't think there's anything magic about it. Absolutely not.
Really?
No. Why do you think it's what's magic about it to you?
The way that they had to contort Kennedy's body, the way they had to shift the angle of him sitting in the seat, the way that none of it matches up with the Zapruder film, just to begin with.
What they had to contort his body?
Yeah, they had to contort his body because he was wearing a back brace and the bullet would never have went in at that angle. Have you?
It didn't go through. It didn't go through his back brace.
What'd you say?
It didn't go through his back brace.
It didn't need to go through his back brace, but his back brace is going to hold him up in a certain position.
Yeah. Okay.
But to go through, he would have had to have been in a different position. They contorted his back so his back was down so that bullet could come through at that angle, go through him, hit the wrist, and bounce off and go into Conley, etc., etc.
No, it entered back of JFK's upper right shoulder blade, exited his neck, and you can see by his clothes that it exited his neck because his tie was blasted out. You can see his clothes like in there's exhibition, their exhibits, his clothes. You can see his tie and his button were blasted out. So we all know when he puts his hands up in the video that a bullet exited his throat.
Not really. Not
Why?
remotely. Have you watched that video?
Absolutely. I'm obsessed with this case.
So, all right, you're obsessed with this case, right? So, Chauncey? Actually, have you read any of the new documentation that's come out?
You mean the very latest stuff that's come out?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you read the fact that there was a bullet hole through the windshield and a bullet hole through his neck that they tried to trach out, and that there was one.
There was not there. It wasn't a bullet hole in the windshield. There was a bullet. Something did hit the windshield that caused a crack. Yeah.
Oh, 1,000% there was a bullet hole through the windshield.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
You can look that up for yourself. There's no bullet hole. There's no hole, but there is a crack in the windshield. I will concede.
CIA, from what was just released, the Army, uh, the Army dogs or whoever released it, I can't remember exactly, said that there was a bullet hole coming through the glass, and it would have hit JFK in the neck.
Donnie,
One,
we can look at the limo. We can look at the crack that was created.
you
It's
can't
not a hole.
create it because they didn't take any pictures of it. They took the glass out when they got to Parkland Hospital.
There are pictures of it, Donnie. There are.
No, there's not.
I can send you the pictures. It's not a problem.
You can send me them if you want.
All I'm saying is it's not a hole.
CIA said there's
It's a,
a bullet hole. The CIA documents say there's a bullet hole in the front glass.
of the windshield of the limo he was riding in.
Yes. That is some of the newest documentation that just came out.
Okay, I don't know if you either misread that, but there definitely is a crack in the windshield from a bullet fragment.
I definitely didn't misread it. And where'd that bullet fragment come from? Because all supposedly, by what the Warner Commission said, every grain of bullet, with the exception of what was in Conley's body, which Conley's family refused to allow to be tested, was accounted for.
Yeah, you're talking about the magic bullet. I'm talking about the headshot bullet. Fragments
I'm,
of the headshot bullet
I'm talking about
is what caused the crack in the windshield.
that.
Because all the bullet fragments from the magic bullet were in bodies.
Right.
Yeah. But the whole thing is Oswald, the second shot was the one that is the alleged magic shot, the magic bullet shot. It entered his upper right shoulder blade, exited his neck. The way Conley was seated, which was lower and to the left of Kennedy, because he was in a jump seat, he was turned. It entered Conley's back sideways. So just like the entrance wound and his scar till the day he died showed an elongated bullet scar going into his body sideways. It slightly deflected a rib in Conley's body. Before that, it hit no bone. It just went right through flesh in Kennedy. So right away, the bullet has slowed down a little bit, and then it goes through Conley. It hits his rib a little bit, deforming it a little bit, flattening it, not at the head of it, like almost flattening it because it hit things sideways. It exited his nipple and then went right through his wrist, shattered his wrist bone sideways again, also slowing the bullet down more, which is why it only substantially lodged in just the skin of his thigh. And that's the pristine bullet that was found on the stretcher.
And you believe that?
Yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't believe that.
Why you wouldn't believe that a bullet that went through all of that was
Yeah,
basically pristine.
it's damaged, man. It's a damaged bullet.
It's not.
It's definitely a damage. It's damaged.
It's not that damaged.
It's not that damaged. I'll give you that, but it is damaged.
To do all that, like you've shot a bullet before, yeah?
Yeah, yeah,
You've shot a gun?
absolutely. My
Okay.
brother lives next door. He's got guns up the ass.
No, no, that's fine. Like you've shot it into things though, and seen the damage that's done to bullets, even like if it just nicks, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Here's a question for you: who shot the fourth shot?
there wasn't a four shot.
Of course, it was a fourth shot.
No, I mean
Doesn't.
there definitely wasn't a four shot.
What do you mean? You hear the three shots, right? Boom, boom,
Yep.
right, and they were all accounted for, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the shot that completely misses the car ricochets and hits the kid in the ankle. Who fired that bullet?
The first shot that missed,
The fourth shot that's unaccounted for.
there is no four shot, dude.
Yeah, there is. Actually, there's way
W-
shots. Acoustics has proven it, but it,
Oh,
stay with the Warren Commission. That's fine.
okay, so you're going, you saying acoustics proved it, so I know exactly what you're going by. You're going by dictabelt recording acoustics, right?
Uh, there's that, and the acoustics they took off the Zapruder film, as well as the acoustics that they did when they redid that whole shooting.
The Zapruder film has no audio, dude. You can't have acoustics on it.
So maybe I misspoken on that. Sorry about that. I'm a
Yeah, and the dictabelt recordings that have acoustic evidence was completely debunked because that guy on that motorcycle with the dictabelt radio turned on, was actually at the trademark where Kennedy was supposed to go and have lunch. He wasn't at Dealey Plaza.
Yeah, maybe you're right on that. I don't know. I know I know that there's evidence of a fourth shot, even though there's evidence
Uh,
of a fourth shot.
what's the evidence of a four shot?
The fact that it completely missed the car
That was the first shot that missed.
and hit. Are you talking about the one that ricochets and hits the kid?
Yeah, under the underpass. Yeah,
What about the other one that hit the sign, the street sign? That,
no bullet hit a street sign.
what'd you say?
No bullet hit a street sign.
Yeah, bullet hit a street sign and they took it down.
No, a bullet did not hit a street sign, dude.
1,000%. That's why they took it down.
What street sign?
We would have to watch the Zapruder film together because I would have to point it out too.
Well, I'm I'm like 100% certain no bullet hit a street sign. I guarantee that. I guarantee that.
You're definitely wrong on that one.
And the majority of people said they heard three shots. A very small majority said they heard four shots.
But hearing a shot doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't more shots taken either. You know what I mean?
Well, you would hear them, right?
Depends how they shot him, what they shot him with.
Well, if they're framing Oswald, they would want to shoot him with all Oswald's ammunition, obviously. They're not going to shoot different ammunition at him.
Yeah, but that's a very easy thing to do. Shoot different ammunition out of a different rifle.
Okay. So they would also have to shoot from behind Kennedy to frame Oswald. It's not like they can do frontal shots to frame Oswald.
They could have did anything they wanted. There was two different autopsies, and we didn't get any of.
There was one autopsy.
Well, there was two autopsies. There was an autopsy that was started in Texas before the
That autopsy never started.
Yes, it most certainly did start.
No, they wanted to start it, but the Secret Service would not let them.
Dude, they tried to trach him for one,
They did trach him.
which would have completely ruined that bullet wound in his neck.
It did completely ruin the bullet wound in his neck.
And then they started an autopsy while they were there.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Okay.
They definitely didn't. Donnie, I swear, I promise you, they didn't, man. I promise. They didn't start an autopsy in Dallas. They wanted to, and they were pissed that the Secret Service let them take that body without doing an autopsy because it's Texas law.
I understand it's Texas law.
But they did not start an autopsy. Definitely not. They rolled out, basically rolled over the guy that was begging them to stay to have the autopsy done in Dallas.
You're telling me they didn't take X-rays and shit in Dallas?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Nope. They dealt with the president for only about 20 minutes at the most.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, their job was just to resuscitate him. That's all.
Resuscitate a man with a hole in his head. It's kind of funny, ain't it?
That was their job, man.
I just think it's funny. That's all. I'm not saying
What?
it's funny. Guy got a hole in his head. You're trying to resuscitate him.
I mean, well, he had a heartbeat. He had a heartbeat.
Yeah, but
And it's the president of the United States. I think a lot of people were already under the impression with his head blasted open that he wasn't going to make it, but they did everything they could. And obviously it turned out bad for them because he died.
you know what I'm gonna need you to send me is those supposed records. And I say supposed because I've never seen them. I'm not shitting on you.
Which ones?
The ones where the bullet fragments were all connected to Oswald's gun.
Yeah, I got you. I can do that for you.
Because I've never seen them, I've never heard of them, and I've literally read at least 15 books on JFK. Both sides, both your side, and I guess what you would call my side.
No, well, see, the thing is I was gung ho on the conspiracy side for years on this fucking case. Gung ho. But I kept bumping into uh, questionable testimony, people that changed their stories over and over again, contradicting evidence, and lack of evidence of these multiple shooters. Now, so far, I went into the first two shots.
Hey, do you know who
Now,
Holt is?
huh?
Do you know who Chauncey Holt is?
John C. Holt?
Oh, Chauncey, like Chauncey Bill.
John? No, I don't. Who is he?
He was a FBI slash mob enforcer. He was an accountant for mob bosses. He worked for the FBI. He was an artist. He made fake documentation, fake identities, all that type of shit. He was
All right.
a hitter for the mob and a hitter for the CIA.
Okay.
Um, you know the three tramps, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was one of those tramps.
Oh, that's impossible because those tramps were identified.
Yeah, Chauncey Holt was 1,000% one of those tramps. And when he came up,
Donnie,
killed eight.
those tramps were later I tracked down and identified, man. And it wasn't him.
Yeah, it's been proven that it was 1,000% him.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mike, we're gonna hit a wall regardless on what we speak about because you're gonna take the FBI slash CIA position that this is what it is, and I'm never gonna take that side because right off the jump, I believe they have every reason to lie and omit the truth, which they've proven time and again to do in order to cover up their involvement.
I did not expect for us to fucking come down to some conclusion where you agree with me. I agree with you. I just wanted to shoot some shit. So with the headshot,
I'm just putting it out there. You know what I mean?
do you think the headshot came from the grassy knoll?
See, I guess I got to say this to you, right? Um, that headshot could have came from the book depository. I mean, I've read conflicting reports that they've seen other shooters from up there, and the Dow Texas building was right behind them as well, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it could have come from that building. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm not one of those people, and I was trying to get get this through when it was you and your boy and me trying to talk to you typing.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough.
Right. But what I was trying to say is like I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I might not think Oswald did it, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, Jeff Jones pulled the trigger and like I don't know who did it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not. I'm not asking that. I'm not
It,
asking that for you to say.
when it comes down to it, it's more. It comes down to the fact that to me, there's way too much evidence to show that there was CIA/mob complicity in that hit, and the CIA and FBI 1,000% covered up evidence, got rid of fucking witnesses, changed testimony, lied about testimony, lied about court documentation. And I mean, the head of the Warren Commission was a guy JFK fired. Like, so right off the bat, that's kind of to take anything that the Warren
No,
says.
he wasn't the. I know the guy you're talking about. He wasn't the head of the Warren Commission. That was Earl Warren.
Well, all right, but I
But
mean, let's.
I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Helms. I know.
yeah. Who's pulling the strings on that? Warren or Helms? Like, let's be realistic. The head of the CIA or Warren? You know what I mean?
I can see your point there. Yeah.
It's like there's just way too much shit. Like Oswald going into the fucking theater, supposedly fucking sneaking into the theater, right?
Yeah.
And you have every fucking Dallas cop show up for somebody sneaking into the theater.
Yeah.
It's just shit that just doesn't make sense. Is the reason that like I just don't buy into it. You know what I mean? I've never seen the documentation that you're gonna send me. I'm gonna admit that fully, but there's just
Oh yeah. I'll send it to you.
yeah, I know,
Um.
but there's just
So.
that points squarely to the government doing one or two things: either covering up their complicity and pulling it off,
Right.
or B, allowing it to completely dropping the ball to the point that it would be looked at as a crime because they dropped the ball so bad. Kind of like what you
Right.
was on 9/11 that the Bush administration
Yeah.
allowed to have
Yeah.
the war. That would be complicity of a terrorist attack.
I gotcha.
You got what I'm saying?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
All these attacks have the same fucking occurrence over and over. You have something happens that's supposedly out of the blue. The intelligence agencies are watching the guy supposedly, yet the guy's able to sneak away for a couple minutes and take out the president or take out a fucking building or blow this up or do this. You know what I mean? And then what you have is you have the FBI covering up shit. You have the CIA covering up shit. Won't talk to people. Won't give evidence. It's all the same, no matter what terror attack or event you take. It basically all comes down to the same shit.
Okay. I see your perspective. I see exactly what you're saying. But as for that final headshot, do you think it came from the front because of the classic, he goes back into the left thing?
Uh, Honestly, Mike, I have to reserve my judgment until I see that shit that you sent me.
That's cool. That's cool. I respect that.
Because, I'm going to say, prior to you saying that to me, I don't think that the headshot came from the back. Now you
You think it could?
supposedly have done ballistics and tied all those ballistics into Oswald's weapon. Then I have to reevaluate it, and I'm not going to sit there and tie myself to an opinion that was based on all the best research that I could do at that time. But if there's new evidence, I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, no, this is how I feel, so that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good then. That's awesome.
No, I'm not that type of dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't expect you to be.
And I never do research in a manner that I have a pre-existing conclusion and that I'm working on research to bring me to that conclusion. You know what I mean?
Right. So besides me saying that the bullet fragments all point to Oswald's gun, do you think that say I didn't even say that? Do you think that the final headshot came from the grassy knoll?
I think it came from in front of him. I can't tell you where exactly.
Okay. So you think that where his head splits open in the video and stuff, you think that's a wound of entry?
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay. Where's the exit wound then?
What do you mean?
Where did that bullet exit on his head?
Well, if it exited at all, then
Where
it could have clipped the side of his head where it popped that off and came right out the backside.
Yeah, but okay. My point exactly is, if you in the Zapruder film, you can watch nothing happens to the back of his head.
Yeah, but that bullet could have came depending on what bullet was used,
Right,
which is another big point because of the different types of ammunition. Because
right.
let's say that shot was actually done with exploding munition.
A
If that
frangible bullet.
would have never fucking, there would be no exit wound.
Right, a frangible bullet. Yeah. Okay.
So
I've heard that one before.
if that's the case, then you're not gonna have an exit wound. If if the bullet
Okay.
through, I mean, you have a pristine bullet that went in and out of fucking JFK and Conley 17 times. Exaggeration. But to sit there and say that it couldn't hit the.
Also exaggeration on saying it's pristine too.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's it missing? Like, honestly, 8 grams?
It's some small amount of grains. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's 8 for some reason. I always
It's yeah.
the fact that
It's very small.
they wouldn't let them take out the fucking fragments.
Huh?
I said I always got a kick out of the fact that Conley's family refused to allow the autopsy when they did the autopsy on Conley when he died
Yeah.
during life. That
Yeah.
his family wouldn't allow them to pull out those grains to prove that it was that bullet.
Really? I didn't know that. Shit. Okay. So you just all right, cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that about that.
they said no, they wouldn't do it. It actually went to court. I forget who
What
sued.
was their reason for saying that?
What'd you say?
What was their reason for saying that?
For saying no?
Yeah, what was his reason?
From what I recall, they said that they went through enough tragedy that America went through enough tragedy that day, and they didn't need to open old wounds.
Well, these wounds have been open and they've never closed, so that's kind of ridiculous.
Honestly, I'll be dead honest with you. If tomorrow they could come out that somehow, some way, it could come out that fucking 1,000% Oswald did it. That was that. He did it for Cuba, whatever you want to say. I'd be stunned. Honestly, I really would be stunned.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't sit there and like be like, oh no, that's a fuck. You know what I mean? Like if the proof was there and everything, I'd be happy.
You'd accept it.
Be finished.
All right.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's just way too much like the possible double Oswald's being certain places, the connections he had, the fact the CIA has never admitted that he's worked for them, the fact that they said that Oswald and Ruby had no connection when that's a fucking lie.
I don't think they had any connection.
What do you mean?
I don't have any reason to believe they did.
They were seen in a strip club together on numerous occasions.
By who?
Party goers at the strip clubs, one of Oswald's girlfriends, one of Ruby's girlfriends.
You don't think people just made this stuff up?
Why would they have a reason? Like, what? I don't see the reason to sit there and lie about something like that could possibly get you killed when people around you are getting killed for fucking saying shit already.
Because when Ruby killed Oswald, he straight up said, "I did it."
Who, Ruby?
Yeah, I did it. I'm not part of a conspiracy. I did this all on my own.
Now, are you under the impression that Ruby didn't have any ties to the mob?
No, he had ties to the mob.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just making
for
sure.
sure.
And
Yeah.
You don't find it a little funny that back in them days that the mob and the CIA worked hand in hand so closely together you probably couldn't differentiate the two, and you have a mob associate hitting somebody that just killed the president of the United States?
I I don't think I know for sure that the mob and the CIA did work hand in hand in doing things like trying to take Castro out and shit like that.
Right.
Um,
Selling.
as for hiring Ruby to take out Oswald, that's not a mob move that I would ever. I don't think the mob would ever do that
Why wouldn't they?
because it's not something that they would want to involve themselves in. First of all,
So so you need to understand. I guess my thinking is, if the mob's working with the CIA, right? The CIA was supposed to take out. There was never supposed to be a fucking Oswald. I don't think Oswald was ever supposed to make it out of the theater. To be honest with you, he does. He gets into jail. He says he's a patsy. Asks for a lawyer. Is never given one. They. I don't even think they Mirandized him for killing the president at that point. They bring him down
no, he was under arrest for killing the police officer.
for killing Tippett, supposedly, right?
Yeah, yeah. Initially, yeah.
Do you believe that too?
That he killed Tippett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Issue with that witness?
What?
You don't have an issue with that witness?
Well, there's way more than one witness.
But the main witness, that that woman, that main witness, that fucking the one that was crying and all that shit, she was the main witness.
The one standing at the corner of the street.
She was like wicked. She was crying all kinds of
She
crazy
put her hands over her eyes and shit.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's definitely way more than her as a witness for that killing. But
There's issue.
but yeah,
Oh, was it? He was killed with a revolver, but bullets were left at the scene, right?
the bullets were left at the scene. Yeah,
But it was a revolver that killed him, wasn't it?
yeah.
Okay. Why would you do that?
Why would Oswald do that?
Yeah.
Because he was stopped by a police officer after he just killed the president.
Yeah, but why
In,
would
in my
bullets right
in
there?
my opinion, huh?
Why would you dump those bullets right there?
What do you mean dumped him? You mean dumped him in the cop?
No, no, I mean like the casings were right there, were they not?
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But what I'm saying, what I'm getting at is, if you shoot a cop a bunch of times with a revolver and there's no other cop around, and why would you leave those bullets the casings right with them?
He left the casings in the building too, man.
See, these are all things that bother me, because these are things a criminal would never do. You would never
I
do.
think it. I think at that point, at first, I don't think he planned on killing a police officer. I don't think he planned on getting stopped by a police officer. Um, but he did, and when the cop got out of the car to question him, I think he was already in a murderous rage, in my opinion. If that was me, I would whack the cop too, I guess.
Oh, I'm not saying I wouldn't whack the cop. I completely understand the killing of Tippett. I just, from that standpoint, what I don't understand is leaving the casings at the scene.
Um, I really don't have an answer for why Oswald didn't pick up his casings. I
It's
don't.
shot with a 9 millimeter. You know what I mean? You shoot with a nine,
Yeah.
your casings go everywhere. There's nothing you can do. You shoot with a 38 or whatever it was. It's a 38, right?
Yeah.
So you shoot with a 38. You got 6 shots. There's no reason to let the shells fall out at all. All you're doing is leaving more evidence for you to get locked up on. You get what I'm saying? It just
Now I get you. Now I see what you're saying. I thought you meant something different.
oh
So you're saying the empty hulls that were in the revolver, right?
yes.
Okay. he really didn't dump those right at the cop.
Yeah, but they were within feet of the cop, weren't they? Like within 10, 15.
I mean, yeah, they. I mean, I would say within 50 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like, I know a lot of criminals. Not one of them would do something stupid like that.
Someone as stupid as Oswald, I think, would. Yeah.
But that's the thing is he wasn't a stupid guy.
In certain respects. I mean, I don't think he had this whole thing well planned out to begin with. And then he definitely didn't have this part of it planned out because he wasn't expecting this at all. That's beside the point. I mean,
No, yeah.
we're, I mean, I just wanted to touch. I mean, I always see you going posting conspiracy stuff, so I always wanted to touch base with you on some of the big ones. Um, so I see where you stand with JFK. All right, you got a shitload of questions. That's fine.
Stupid
Uh,
because I have a shitload of questions about everything. You know what I mean? And it's not my belief. I guess my beliefs waver in the sense of if you don't have all the specific evidence in front of you, then something could always come out tomorrow and fucking push you in a certain manner. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And unless you're going to be an idiot, you have to allow that to happen because you have to allow evidence to push you in one way or another. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because if you're not, you're disingenuous.
When Oswald was arrested in the theater, he also tried to kill the arresting officer. I mean, he pulled the fucking pistol on that guy too.
Right. But if now, but if you were a CIA asset and your handler told you to go to the theater so that you could get pulled out, and you went there, and then a bunch of cops ran in on you, you realized you were fucked. You probably want to pull the trigger on him too.
If a handler told me to meet him there,
And then a bunch of cops came rushing in on you. Yeah.
that's a good point. It's a good point.
But at that point, you're not gonna. I understand you ain't gonna accept it because you don't think Oswald and the CIA had anything to do with each other.
Well, I don't think that they had. I don't think they were working together. I think they had a beat on him because he defected to Russia and came back.
And you believe
I mean,
too?
no.
You do you believe that story is what it is? It is what it is on that story that he defected to Russia and the State Department paid for him to come back
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
during
yeah,
during the height of the Cold War. They would just pay for
yeah.
the guy to come back and not immediately put him in jail for fucking 6 months to question him.
Well, I mean, the KGB was followed him all around when he was over there
Yeah, point.
because they thought he was planted there by the Americans.
Which more than likely he was. You do know we had a program doing that, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So if you know that we had that program doing that, why would you assume Oswald wasn't part of it? Just out of curiosity.
Because I mean, here's a guy that goes over to Russia, finds out that he can't stay, slits his wrists, and tries to kill himself. A person that unstable, I don't think any government, secret service of any government would want somebody like that working with them. I mean, you do know he tried to commit suicide there, right?
I'm racking it through my brain if I did.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't remember.
All right. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's no big deal. Um, all right. Real quick. Fuck the JFK thing. 9/11. I know this is your bread and butter, right?
Yeah, I'm good on it.
Okay. Fucking. Oh, I don't even know where to begin with this one. Okay. So you don't think that those planes hitting those just the two towers right now,
Mm-hmm.
hitting those towers could take those towers down?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Okay. Why not?
Way. because of the way that building was built. It was built like a mosquito net in the sense of
Yeah.
had,
All the poles were on the outside.
and then on the inside you had all structural steel on the inside
Core columns.
around the core.
Yeah.
So in order for those, just right off the bat, in order for those buildings to have fallen in the manner that they fell, after the first building, after the first third of the first top third of that building started to go to the left. I'm sorry, when you're looking at it, start,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the building underneath it collapses and goes straight down, right?
Yeah.
In order for that to happen, you understand that every single one of those columns would have had to fail at specifically the same exact time with no deviation in order for that building to fall, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you understand how implausible that even is?
But not impossible.
It's bordering on that line of impossibility. Like, that's fucking divinity right there. Like, pretty much God fucking putting his hand in there and doing it. For structural steel, I forget how many columns there were. I want to say it was close to. I don't even want to say a number because I really don't remember. You're talking
Yeah, I
on
used
the
to know shit.
then on the inside. Then you're talking concrete with steel reinforced decking. All this shit just fucking failing all at once because we know the pancake model completely out. That got thrown out. That got trashed years ago. Fucking NIST said that was nonsense. It didn't happen. So what we're left with is a plane hitting the top third of the building and
Loaded with jet fuel.
loaded with jet fuel, which at least 60% of it would have burnt off immediately.
No, why do you think that, dude?
Do you see the explosion?
Yeah, sure. But why 60% of the jet fuel?
Because of the way
Why?
those fucking planes would have hit, it would have fucking completely ruptured everything in that plane. You're talking aluminum. So basically, what you're talking about is go take a 12-ounce can of soda, shake it as much as you can, and throw it off a piece of steel and see if it goes through it. It's not gonna. It's gonna rip apart every little. Do you see what a goose did to that?
Dude, we're talking about an airplane flying into a building, not me throwing a can of soda.
It's the same fucking thing, Mike. You're,
No, we're talking about the velocity of the speed and the velocity of this
the
plane.
velocity was already taken into account to be put into that building.
No, that building was not made to take a hit by that type of plane.
You're absolutely right. The plane that it was designed to take a hit from
It was a step down, yeah.
was actually bigger. It had more weight to it.
It was what?
It was a bigger plane that had more weight to it. The way it was built.
What had more weight to it? The plane that hit it? I don't know what you said there.
The plane that they designed to hit that building.
Yeah, it was a seven. I forget what was it? What was the number of the plane that they designed for it to take a hit from?
It was a 737, but the way that they designed it, the way that the 737s were built at that time, they were heavier. They
Mm-hmm.
and they had more rigid body parts to them than what we have now. We use much lighter stuff. That fucking,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Uh,
Was
I'm not contesting that. Because I think we can both easily say that those buildings did withstand a hit from those planes. They didn't fall right away.
yeah.
They fell from structural damage.
There's no way that structural damage would have did what that did. If you watch that video, those buildings sway for a good 30 seconds after the plane hits them, and then they stand
So
like this.
those buildings what?
Those buildings sway back and forth
Yeah.
after the plane hit them, and then they stand straight back up for an extended amount of time before they get taken down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they were designed to take multiple hits from planes. Multiple, not
Yeah.
multiple.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, we know they took this hit.
Yeah, but they were never meant to crumble, is what I'm getting at.
But I'm saying they crumbled not because of the plane. They crumbled because of the structural damage from the jet fuel of the plane.
So how did this jet fuel get on every one of these beams so that every one of these beams and got around them consistently to weaken them all consistently enough so that they all snap at the same time?
They went down the core columns and the elevator shaft. That's how that shit. And we gotta imagine this is jet fuel that's on fire, just fire streams going down elevator shafts, going any possible way it could go, and engulfed as much of the building as it could.
So in your theory, none of this jet fuel gets burned up in the explosion.
No, I would vouch to say that some of it got burnt up in the initial explosion. Definitely not 60% of it though.
So what would you say, fucking 15, 20,
Maybe 30 at the most.
30 at the most?
But then again, I'm not an expert on this.
No, I
I'm just
can't even call you that. You know what I mean? I'm just curious to see where your head's at. And then
yeah, no.
let's just call it 25. You think 75% of the rest of that was capable of heating sufficiently those steel beams to weaken and warp them while they're standing there? And you do know how the physics of those beams works, yeah?
Meaning what? Refresh my memory.
In terms of heat dissipation as well as being hit, like shock dissipation.
Yeah.
So you know that the heat would have been transferred from to the furthest points of that those beams prior to any type of warping happened, right?
Why would it be transferred?
Because that's what those beams are meant to do. They're the size they are so that the heat will transfer because heat chases a lack of heat. So if you have steel beams that are hot and steel beams that are cold, the heat's going to go to the colder ones first. So you would have that dissipation. You would also have to take that into account before you would have any sort of warping, twisting, anything along those lines.
Okay. You know the footage of the building when it shows like the side of the building like pulling in?
As you're talking the first building as it's starting to topple over,
Yeah, you can see like side of it like look like it's like warped in, kind of like it's bowing in.
a little bit.
Yeah, that's from the columns weakening, it's kind of sagging, pulling those in.
So now you're saying the outside columns were being pulled in
Hmm.
from what?
From the connecting beams to the middle.
But how did they get weakened? If all the fuel goes down the elevator shaft,
I didn't say all of it went down that way.
okay, so
I'm saying some of it went down that way.
and where'd the rest of it go?
Everywhere, basically. Everywhere. I mean, I don't think there's a place where that shit couldn't have gone, right, to be honest. I would imagine that we're talking about lit jet fuel. I can just see that shit going everywhere. Not to mention other things helping, other things in the offices igniting and helping it burn.
Yeah, but
But
the problem is the math just don't work, Mike.
where doesn't it work, dude?
When you take the entire building with structural steel in it and
Yeah,
bring jet fuel to its absolute highest temperature, you're still not going to affect that steel.
you definitely would weaken it for sure. You would weaken that steel.
But Mike, even if you weakened a third of the beams in that building's not going to collapse.
If Dude, if you weaken to the at that location where the sides of the building bows in, That's sagging of the girders. That's because weakened metal, weakened steel.
Which,
Once that snaps, you can see it snap in the video because all of a sudden those outside walls pop out violently after they bow in. Once that happens, then your whole pancake shit goes
oh,
on.
no, no, yeah, absolutely wrong. Yeah, absolutely wrong. Throw that
Why?
cake shit right out of your head
What? I mean, why?
because because the government straight up said no pancaking happened. So you even throwing
Then
that
what's going on then? I mean, those floors are going pancake style, aren't they?
they said that building did not pancake.
I mean, we both seen it, right?
I'm telling you what NIST said.
What did Nis say they did?
NIST said that they collapsed due to the planes hitting them and
Right.
to the high temperature of the fires, which is nonsense. When
And Nis did say that it weakened the steel beams, right?
they attempted to, yet they have never shown how it could have done that. They've never brought the mathematics out for it. And there's now 5,000 people that have signed, people that work in the industry that have signed on saying that there's absolutely no way that could have happened.
I think 5,000 people is a fucking grain of sand on a beach
Well, it's only,
because there's so many architects that go against it.
but it's only a grain of sand in terms of people who actually looked at it.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you think the only people that looked at it are the truthers?
no, no, not at all. But
Huh.
to say
I
that
mean,
15,000 architects, just say for this conversation, there's 15,000 architects and 5,000 of them say that it was bullshit, that the government story is complete bullshit, then, if they all work in that field, then there's an issue there. Even if there's 50,000, if you have 5,000 people that all have licenses, all work in that field, and all sit there and every single one of them says, done the math, this can't work. And NIST has never presented anything that has happened before that or up until this point. It's kind of on the government to come out and explain how they got to their conclusion, why they got to their conclusion, why whatever happened happened, and why from 2001 to present they have never once changed the way buildings, those types of buildings are created or constructed.
good point.
So if those buildings, including especially Building 7, I know you didn't want to talk about it yet, but just for this,
No, I don't mind. I don't mind.
so just for this small pot, especially Building 7, but if you had the two towers collapse, supposedly from planes, and then from, let's just say, the jet fuel fucking made it collapse. The way that that building collapsed and the fact that every fucking beam, let's say under the 50th floor, all gave out and did not do its job because every single floor that hits should be slowed down by the floor below it. None of those floors did their job. The government's going to come out and say that, which is something that has never happened ever in the history of the world. Then they need to prove their case beyond saying we're the government and that's what we say, or having Popular Mechanics write some nonsense fucking article about it.
It's not a complete nonsense. It's a great article, man. I mean, it's not complete horseshit. That's a great article.
Conclusion that's already brought up on something that until that day was magical, it's nonsense to me.
Huh?
I said if you're going to write an article based on an already observed conclusion and do
I
it,
see. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you.
and
Look. I definitely think there's anomalies in this case that are questionable, like how they found the guy's passport in the ground. That I think that's fucking crazy.
yeah, how the fuck does that happen?
Yeah, dude, that's the way I am. I'll admit that that's fucking weird. I mean,
You know that whole 19 hijackers. You do know where that story comes from, right?
No, I seen you type that, but everyone was talking and I couldn't.
That's why I said this was I was like getting aggravated because I'm like, this is way too hard to do. I don't type quick enough. I'm on a fucking little phone. Hey, so what happened was those planes supposedly get hijacked.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and look at the lady's name, but she was married to a cabinet member or a Congress member, somebody that was high up in the government at the time.
Yeah.
Supposedly, she called him and said to him, "The plane's been hijacked. There's 4 or 5 guys on here with box cutters. They took the plane over. They said they're gonna land it. Blah blah blah. Whatever."
Okay.
When truthers started looking into that, they filled out and filed FOIA requests to find out everything about that phone call.
Okay.
The problem with that phone call is initially they said that she was on a earphone out of the back of the seats.
Yeah.
Problem with it is they were all taken out 2 months prior to that to 9/11 happening. So then they said that they had a cell phone that did it. Problem with that is in 2001, if you remember how much of our phones were fucking roaming in and out, or we lost service back then.
Yeah.
They didn't have the technology to jump quick enough from cell tower to cell tower to cell tower because you're moving at 600 miles an hour.
Totally. I understand that.
So then after that all happened, the FBI recanted the whole fucking thing and said, yeah, the phone call happened. So now we're left with absolutely no evidence of those hijackers being on that plane, with the exception of the shoddy nonsense fucking shit you hear in the background of people calling.
All right. So, okay. I totally understand what you just said. So who do you think flew the planes then into the buildings?
So I want to say it was. I'm pretty sure it's Boeing. Back in 97,
Yeah.
Boeing came with a new tracking system and gave everybody that bought their planes the tracking system. It actually allowed them to basically hit a button and have the plane fly itself home if it was ever hijacked. There's also video on YouTube of the military and like Philip Grumman flying 747s, 57s, 67s, all those planes by remote.
Yeah.
So to me, they didn't need anybody on that fucking planes.
Okay. So, but do you think there were still passengers on the planes though?
See, that's always been a huge issue for me. Is I know that most of those flights were only at about 20%. None of them were filled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So out of those 20%, it's just to me it's fucked up that. All right, so you fly 2 planes into a building, that's fine, whatever. Like it's not fine, but it's what I mean. But
Yeah, I got it. Obviously, it's not. Yeah.
but I have issues because it's like, did they shoot that other plane down in Shakesville? What really hit the Pentagon? Because the plane definitely didn't hit the Pentagon. There's no fucking way that happened.
Well, the problem with the Pentagon is we don't fucking know because they won't release footage.
But why don't we know? Have you ever been there, Mike?
Have I been at Pentagon?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you see how many fucking cameras are on that building, right?
That's what I was just about to say.
You know what I mean?
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. Not to mention that and,
Look, I'm not sold on the official story. Like I've already told you things that I think are fucking weird.
Can I tell you honestly?
Huh?
Hey, I'm sorry. You still there?
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know what just happened. I'm gonna grab a drink. Up until 2009 or 10, I think I bought the.
Kid,
I bought.
go fucking shave, dude.
You like that?
Sexy.
Save this weekend, bro.
All right.
Fucking but yeah, up until like 2010, I bought into the official story, to be honest with you. And I forget what happened, but I was reading something about Oklahoma City, and
Yeah.
it completely broke everything. It forced me into looking into the World Trade Center bombing, the World Trade Center 9/11, all of it. Pentagon. And the Pentagon, you can't even fly a plane in the manner that they said in order to hit the building. It's a complete impossibility. That plane cannot fly at that height. It's just not, because of the physics behind it. That plane has to be at least, I think, 50 feet off the ground to go that speed. It's just absolute nonsense. You know what I mean?
But yeah, there are a shitload of witnesses that were on the highway and seen this plane though. Are they all lying?
The black guy's been debunked completely, right?
The black guy from the towers?
No, from the Pentagon, the guy that was supposedly driving the cab.
Oh yeah, no, I never heard that he was debunked, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
He's been 100% completely debunked.
Okay.
Um,
I take you on that.
been debunked just on footage that has been released. They released footage. The FBI released footage a few years back from. It was from a gas station, a different gas station. But the way the plane comes over, there's no way any of those witnesses would have seen it. So there's issues with that right there.
So the besides the black fucking cabbie,
Yeah.
the other witnesses that said they saw a plane, they're lying.
Yeah, there's no way they would have been able to see it from the manner that where they were.
So so with that said, that they're in on the conspiracy as well. Then
Either they're in the conspiracy or there's more to it. Like, supposedly, I just heard this. I haven't really looked into it. That there was actually two aircrafts that day. There was a 747, but there's and this is where my issue comes in with the passengers, is because supposedly that 747 flew over the Pentagon and they flew a drone into the Pentagon. I haven't really looked into it, so I don't know. Who's to say those fucking.
now that would make sense for the witnesses seeing a plane.
Exactly. But I mean, you are talking about DC, you're talking about the Pentagon. How hard would it be to have people go out there and be like, yeah, I seen a plane hit the fucking Pentagon? You are talking about DC, like, you know what I mean? I don't think it would be that hard to fucking get people to do that. Yeah.
I don't know what type of bribe.
Fucking. But what it comes down to is I don't even care so much about the witnesses when the flight envelope of that plane, which is its specs that it can and can't do, does not allow for it to be flown in the manner it was flown in order to hit that building at the height it hit. It's just an impossibility. So right there, that deads that whole fucking. I don't care about anything else. If the plane can't physically do that maneuver, then to
You're
me,
talking about you talking about the corkscrew maneuver they said they did.
well, forget about that. That's another issue. You're taking a guy that couldn't fly a fucking Cessna, and you put him in one of the most sophisticated jets, and now he does a fucking 270-degree corkscrew.
Again, one of the things that I find fucking crazy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you ever watched, Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
So he had a show back in the day. Whether
Yeah. What's it called?
on him, it doesn't matter. You should really watch the show. He has,
No, I've seen a shitload of episodes. I just can't think of the name of it.
it's Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah. There you go.
So one of them, he actually had two of the top fighters in the world, plane fighters, fucking pilots in the world, try to do that maneuver and then fly into the Pentagon. And they both tried like 10 times. They're like, this is impossible. They're like, there's no way this could be done.
Yeah. I've always had a problem with the Pentagon part because like we both said, that place is fucking riddled with cameras.
Right.
And all they have to do to prove it correct or prove it wrong is release that footage.
Which they refuse to do. So why are they refusing?
I mean, they got that one bullshit piece of footage that
Yeah, the
you
fucking
know which one I'm talking about.
3 seconds or something.
Yeah, that bullshit fucking thing.
Yeah, it's nonsense. And then
But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've always had a problem with the Pentagon part. Always,
and the other
always.
is where the hole gets blown out the back of the Pentagon, out fucking the B ring. That circular hole that comes out the B ring on the back side of the.
Yeah.
How the fuck did that happen?
From what I research I've done, um, fuck, I got the book over there. I just can't read the name of it. Um, I think that was one of the engines that flew through the wall.
No, from what I remember them saying is that the plane broke down, turned into a slurry, and then pushed out through the wall because the engines were supposedly found in front of the Pentagon.
Yeah, see that's another thing that a lot of conspiracy people say that there was no plane engines found. That there definitely was.
Yeah, but the other issue is what they said was found. I, I read somewhere, and I'm not even gonna put my name to it, but I read somewhere that shit never it didn't coincide with the type of plane that would have been flying that day. So
All right, well, that's cool.
there's just so many issues with it. You know what I mean?
There is.
You know.
And like I said, Donnie, I didn't fucking bring you on here to fucking throw blows over the fucking thing.
I don't care. I'll talk to you
I
all the time.
I just know that I always see the shit. I always see the stuff you post, and I know that you're pro conspiracy with a lot of things. So
I'm pro truth, bro. Honestly, like, and I don't know, like, I look at it as if you have a government that's willing to carry out Operation Northwoods, which was 9.
I I know what Northwoods is. Yep.
Okay, and you have a government that did carry out Gladio and Gladio B, and hasn't even completely ended the program, and they were legitimately killing people like civilians and bombing civilians and blaming it on the Red Army as a stay behind force to fucking beat communism in Europe. Like, can you really take any word that these people say?
Uh,
Gladio B is not. Gladio and Gladio B are not conspiracy theories at all.
I didn't. I was never told what that was. I asked you, but that was when we were having a hard time fucking.
So what it was a stay behind force. So basically, they left basically like say CIA special ops behind in Europe, all over Europe, especially in Italy. It broke in Italy, but they left all the CIA behind, and what they did was they created terror organizations, basically like Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
Were killing civilians, bombing civilian structures, bombing banks, and what they were doing was blaming it on the communists and saying that the communists did it, and that everybody, that was when the Red Scare was going on. They were blaming it on the Red Army, saying that that's what they were doing to try to take over.
All right.
Yeah.
It's
What'd you say?
there's definitely some shady shit.
Yeah.
Um, let me ask you this. That picture of one of the steel columns after the collapse, the steel column is like cut at an angle.
Hey, Mikey, say that again. Fucking, I shut my phone off somehow.
Oh, all right. You know how in the wreckage in New York, the Ground Zero, It shows one of the steel beams,
Cut at a 40.
and it's cut at an angle.
Yeah.
All right. Now, a lot of conspiracy people think that that is because that was cut to do that whole walking thing that they you know what I'm talking about?
Buildings down.
Yeah. But that really was just a cut because they were just trying to cut those pieces up to fucking get that rubble out of there.
Well, that picture is right and wrong at the same time. Unfortunately, it's been utilized for conspiracy theorists and truthers to push forth this argument that that proves nanothermite, which is nonsense.
Donnie, are you muffling your phone, dude?
Am I what?
I can't hear you at all.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Go ahead.
You got me?
Yeah, it's still kind of low, but it's all right.
Weird. I don't know. I didn't do anything different. So the issue with that beam is, unfortunately, truthers have jumped on it as reasoning for nanothermite.
Right.
But the problem is, A, what you said, and B, when they were going in to try to save people, they had fucking steel guys cutting those. That's how you would normally cut steel, anyways. So they were cutting
Right.
it to save people. However, there is portions, apparently, from what I've read, that there is portions and there are certain beams that wouldn't have been cut by first responders of any sort that have those
Right.
types of cuts in them, or 45-degree angles or 90-degree angles, etc. But you're right in the sense that they did jump on something that they shouldn't have jumped on. And
Yeah.
I would completely agree with you.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing is just building 7. I mean,
So
I'm of the opinion that it took so many hits from falling debris
yeah, but it didn't.
from the top.
That's the problem. Even NIST says that it wasn't an issue with being hit by anything. It got hit by a very, very minimal amount of debris.
So what does NIST say? Refresh my memory.
That building fell from normal office fires.
And it wasn't hit by any debris.
Correct.
I gotta look over this shit.
Was not hit with anything that was substantial that would have taken that building out.
Right.
And in case you didn't know, the model that NIST made for the collapse of Building 7 has been classified. Because they said if the public knew how the building fell, it would jeopardize public safety.
That's in the NIST report? Can I buy that?
I could probably get it for you.
Yeah, do that for me, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could get it for
I mean, you don't have to do it tonight. I know you want to go to bed, but you know, in the future, yeah, get me that.
I'm probably not even going to bed now.
Oh.
I gotta be at work at fucking 4:45 tomorrow because of the storm.
Well, fucking, I gotta fucking jump back on with my buddy Chris and go over some other shit.
Hey, I got one question for you though.
What's up?
Do you find it amusing that BBC reported Building 7 falling 20 minutes before it did?
BBC?
Yeah.
Do I find it amusing?
Yeah, do you find it funny that they
I think it's funny, yeah, but I don't think that there's I think there's a logical explanation.
Really?
Yeah.
What would that be?
I think that they
What, did they just fucked up?
yeah, I think they just fucked up. That's all. I don't think that they were whatever, like off cue on, what they were supposed to say. I don't think that. No, I think they just fucked up. As far as that part, yeah.
Yeah, I just like asking what people think about that.
No, but I know what you're talking about though,
Yeah, I do think it's.
yeah. Definitely, dude, see if you can get me that NIST report, because have you read it?
I've read most of it and I've watched a bunch of shit on
Is it long?
it. It's not too long.
Is it a tough read?
Yeah,
It is?
it's all mechanical engineering and shit. It's not,
Yeah, that's fucking.
you know, but yeah, I always found it funny that NIST said that when asked about when they were asked if they did any tests to find explosive ordinances, they said no. When asked why, they said that there was nothing that happened on 9/11 that would point to
Just suggest that, yeah.
suggest bombs going off. They said they didn't have reports from witnesses, which is a lie.
About bombs going off?
Yes,
I think a lot of people were mistaking the slams of elevators as bombs.
but that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? That at that point, that doesn't matter. Once you have, if you actually read the rules for when you're supposed to do the investigations into a building collapse, anything that would suffice to even the slightest hint of evidence that any type of bomb or exotic device was used, which would be buildings falling, you're supposed to look into and do every test possible for explosives.
I can agree with that.
You know what I mean? So even if they were wrong, let's say every single one of those firefighters and cops were wrong and they didn't hear bombs, and they were wrong about the time frame and the lobby wasn't completely gutted prior to the planes hitting, um, you would still have enough evidence for NIST to look for explosives, and they never did. And they said there was absolutely no evidence, and then they denied that there was molten steel at the building.
Yeah.
But you can't deny that
Yeah,
any video of it.
yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? So
Who was taking up residence in Building 7?
from obviously I'm not the landlord, so I can't tell you exactly. But conspiracy theory,
No, but wasn't there some CIA shit in there or something?
yeah, there was CIA was in there, NSA was in there, IRS was in there, and I think one other agency was in there. But
And the explanation from a lot of conspiracy people is that they demoed the building to get rid of that type of evidence or something.
yeah, that is like, it depends who you want to listen to and who you want to ask. A lot of,
I know because there's not just one conspiracy with any of these cases. There's a shitload of different fucking
but
versions of conspiracy.
there is, but as you follow the way that all this shit goes, it touches all the same people. So like them having to cover shit up makes sense. You know what I mean? In terms of that, so I could see it. But in terms of why they would have to take Building 7 down, I have no idea, dude. I couldn't tell you that. Supposedly, Clinton had all the documentation from Whitewater and Mena, Arkansas in there. Do you know what Mena, Arkansas is?
Yeah.
So supposedly he had all the documentation for that and Whitewater in there. So that was
Now, as in documentation on paper or in computers or something.
I don't know. That I couldn't tell you. I would assume paper because of when it took place. I can't imagine that if you had something going on in the 80s that was in paper and you had to keep it, that you would ever transfer it over to computer to make it easier to find. You know what I mean?
See, so my question there would be they took the building down to get rid of this paperwork, this incriminating paperwork. Wouldn't a paper shredder do?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I couldn't even tell you why they would take that building down. I really, Mike, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know why. I really have no clue.
No, that's cool. That's cool. At least you admit that you don't when you don't know.
Yeah,
Shit.
you know, I think I know a good amount of shit, but if I don't know something, I'm just gonna leave it as I don't know because I'd rather say I don't know to you than make some bullshit up. You go and research it and be like, this kid's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean?
All right, so dude, see if you can get me that NIST shit, and I'll get you that. The fuck did you want me to get you?
The ballistics report on JFK's.
Oh yeah, yeah, the JFK thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, I got you. All right, buddy.
I'll take care of that for you.
So everything's going good though.
Yeah, I can't complain. You?
Besides my current situation.
Yeah, I was kind of kidding.
Shit, dude, I can't jerk off.
I know. Would you break both your wrists?
No, one wrist, and on my left hand, the thumb is completely shattered.
Oh fuck, bro.
Oh, it's brutal. I got pins in my hands and shit.
Oh, you poor kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my
It's a bad dude.
shoulder rebuilt when I was like 22.
Huh?
I had my shoulder rebuilt. I fucked my shoulder all up, and
Yeah.
I had it rebuilt, and I couldn't use my right arm, and I'm a righty for 6 weeks, and it was the worst 6 weeks of my life, and it was just my right arm. Like you don't even have a left arm.
No, dude.
I can't even imagine what that's like for you.
Or a right leg right now.
Oh man, how long you laid up for?
um, I got one more week, and then I can finally start going weight bearing on it. Like right now, it's no weight bearing.
That's fucking nuts, dude. That's gonna be so hot.
Fucking suck.
You know
Dude, didn't something happen to your foot?
what happened?
Didn't something happen to your foot?
My foot?
Yeah. Didn't you?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
never. I don't know.
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't know. I thought I saw you one time, and you said you fucked your foot up or something. This is a long time ago, dude. I don't know.
I might have. I don't know. I don't even remember.
I forget. I forget.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I seen you somewhere near the Somerville Hospital, and you were like, I was like, "What's up with you?" I thought it was you, and you were limping. You're like, "I fucked my ankle up or something." Like, I don't know. Maybe not though. Maybe think of somebody else.
I definitely don't think
You know, you know me. My life has been kind of blurry. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You already know what time it is with me.
yeah.
Maybe not nowadays, but back then.
Hey, we all gonna pass, brother.
It's been a blurry fucking teenage years for me.
Yeah, but you know what's great is when you sit down with people you haven't seen in years and they start telling you shit that you didn't remember you did that you actually did. So you start laughing about
Yeah,
it.
the best.
Right? Oh, shit's hilarious.
Fucking. But yeah, dude, get me the NIST thing. I'll get you that other shit.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I might actually have a bunch of other documentation.
Yeah, dude, hit me up with everything, dude.
Yeah. I'll send it over to you. Anything like that you want to know from a conspiracy side, just shoot me questions. I'll answer them for you. I don't care.
Dude, I'll tell you one thing. You're fucking crazy about chemtrails. I'll leave it at that.
Why you say that?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Uh-oh.
I'm joking.
No, because I was really gonna ask you because I talk to people all the time and they're like, "You're nuts about that." I said, "Well, what the fuck are they? What's in the sky then?" Because that ain't.
Well, my only beef with that is the people that are spraying the shit. Don't they live down there too?
All right, so people say that to me, right? And I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I have no idea why they're spraying shit up there. I'm just gonna put that right off the bat. I have
See,
two ideas.
you say when you don't know.
What'd you say?
You always say when you don't know.
Yeah, because I hate, you know what it is, Mike? I hate people that are like, oh, I know this happened or I know that happened. Dude, no, you don't. All you have is side A and side B side of the story. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, you might know something if like you got all the evidence and like whatever. But if you don't, then
Like, dude, I'm an atheist, but I'm not 100% certain. I know for a fact.
yeah. See, and I'm not. I believe in God. I don't believe in like Jesus or nothing, but I believe that there was a creator. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if I shit the bed and I'm in the fucking ground with a bunch of fucking worms, it is what it is. Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Can't know.
It'll be the same as it was the way it felt before you were born. You don't know nothing.
Right. You know. So like, I just get aggravated when people say that they know this or they know that.
But I know.
You could draw two conclusions. Like, to me, the chemtrail thing, I honestly think it has to do with global warming. And the CIA and NASA's both come out and said that they were going to start spraying to stop global warming. That was within the past year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also heard, which actually made sense to me based upon the podcast I was listening to, which it would take too long for me to explain, but um, basically what is being called the deep state right now seen a war coming down the pike with Russia or China. So they started spraying in the skies. And the grid that you see over the skies is some sort of crystalline material that makes it absolutely impossible for like China and Russia to target any of our cities.
The grid that you see
Yeah, you ever look up in the sky and actually see a grid being formed by the planes?
by the chemtrails,
Yeah.
by the trails. Yeah, I think that's just flight paths.
But it's really not. If you watch them, it's they're not necessarily all normal flight paths.
And I mean, maybe who knows if they're spraying shit, but for sure that those turbine engines going through the atmosphere create clouds from the heat.
They create contrails. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, contrails. Yeah.
But they don't last as long as the chemtrails do.
Well, they would last longer in a more dense, moist atmosphere.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But
Um.
but still, like even if you take a normal contrail at the same height and everything, the chemtrails last way longer, like hours. They just don't go away.
Um.
You know.
Now, what's up, dude, with this flat Earth thing, dude?
So
You're-
brother, listen. I tell everybody this. I've looked into the flat Earth for two reasons. Actually, probably three. One, because I thought it was funny. Two, because I don't know if you know, but I'm a photographer. So
No, that's cool.
there's when you get bored later, look up star trail photography, right? So what they do is they take it's called a long exposure.
Hmm.
So it's basically it's kind of like a time lapse, but in a single frame. So you have all the movement going on throughout the night, um, and it shows the way the stars move. Well, the stars,
All right.
yeah, they don't actually move in the way that they're supposed to move if the Earth's a ball and spinning the way that they say. So it's always intrigued me. So I just wanted to see what the flat Earth said about it. So I looked it up, and the third reason was I I like to test my brain out. I like even if I don't buy into something, I'll read into it just as like a thought experiment, and
Yeah.
that's mainly why I looked into it. Now, in while I was looking into it, I came to a conclusion that unless I flew into space, because of my photography background, I know that up until a year ago, I'll say with 1,000% surety, there's never been just a picture of Earth. It's always been a photoshopped composite. Um, that's always given me that's always been an issue for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the Earths, if you look at like if you go through all the Earths that were displayed by year and look at them, the watercolor is different. The shapes of
Oh, I know. I know. They've been manipulated. No, for
yep,
sure.
there's a million things. So like shit like that. So I just came to the conclusion that I'm never gonna know unless they take a snapshot or a live feed or something. You know what I mean? And I can see it, or I can fly up a fucking plane up there. And B, to be honest with you, dude, I don't think that. I think if I was 5 years old and grew up being told the Earth was flat, and now somebody was telling me it was round, I'd be in the same position I am now, thinking I'm on a ball, and there's a bunch of people telling me it's flat. You know what I mean?
There's just I mean, if there was this disk floating in the cosmos, it's impossible because the reason why we have round planets is because the pressure of space can only create a round object. It wouldn't allow for a flat disk to be roaming around in space.
Well, you're talking like they've done experiments, been able to prove that that's how planets are formed,
I mean,
which they haven't. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But again, like I said the other day, I'm earth shape agnostic. I don't know. I don't care. It's not going to change my life.
yeah. Oh no, totally not. I'm definitely not gonna.
But when it comes down to it, it's interesting to me because it's like this shit with the ball model that doesn't work. It doesn't make sense to me.
What?
Um, okay, how's all right for one? How is the water held onto the earth? And don't tell me
Gravity.
that's gone right there.
What? Gravity's gone?
Yeah, well, gravity can't work
Why?
because it's not a powerful enough force to have the earth spinning at the speeds it's spinning while holding all that mass of water on there. If you spin a tennis ball that's wet, what happens? You get all the water flying off of it.
Yeah, but
It's the theory of centrifugal force. You know what I mean? Like,
it's
I
a tennis ball also isn't enclosed in an atmosphere. You know,
but this is gonna get way off the subject, or kind of on the subject, but off the subject. I don't believe technically in gravity, so right there, it's a problem for me. And if you really want to have your mind fucked, start looking into the electric universe.
the what?
Electric universe?
Electric universe?
Yeah. Our models for planetary science is based basically on gravity, and this instead is based on everything being created because of electricity, and everything you see around you is because of electricity,
Hmm.
as opposed to gravity holding us in water and everything else on Earth, which is kind of weird because you can have a bird fly, yet you know what I mean. Like there's all these issues with gravity. I think would be a lot easier and make more sense if it was electromagnetism or static that's actually doing that stuff. And there's actually a lot of good science behind it.
What do you think about when they say, watch a boat go over the horizon?
Oh, that's nonsense. I can just tell you that as a photographer. That has nothing to do with curvature. That has to do with perspective.
Perspective.
Yeah, if you were to take, say, a P900 Nikon, shitty little camera that you could probably pick up for $50, go to Revere Beach, fucking watch a boat go out over the horizon, and
Yeah.
out on it, you would see that boat until that zoom ended. You know what I mean? And if you had a deeper zoom, you could keep doing it,
So you're saying if you see it disappear over the horizon, zoom in on it.
and you'll see the boat again. Yeah,
I agree, but I don't think you'll see the entire boat again.
that's gonna come into height and the height of the water, etc., etc. But if it was a curve, you shouldn't be able to zoom in and see it. That's one of those things that doesn't make sense to me. You know,
Good stuff to get stoned to and talk about.
that's what I mean. Like, it's just a good mind fuck. That's why I like looking into it. Like I said, like
Dude, I'm fucking baked right now. That's why I'm talking about all this shit.
bake this shit too, bro.
Hey, it helps with my pain.
Yeah. Mine too.
Helps my pain with my fucking 14 broken limbs.
Yeah, no shit, dude. That's crazy.
Fucking.
I can't even imagine that. You must be smoking serious bud, kid.
Yeah, serious bud and smoking serious butts too.
Yeah,
Just fucking rifling them back.
nicotine helping you out.
Yeah, help me fucking die.
Oh man. But all right, kid,
Fucking A.
I'm gonna go take a nap and fucking.
Yeah, buddy. Holler at me tomorrow. Send me that shit.
Yeah, I will. Once I get it, I'm gonna. I'll put out a call for it on Facebook right now. Otherwise,
All
I'll
right, cool.
my computer and get it because I know I have it up there. And hey, tell your boy anytime he wants to shoot the shit. Maybe we could figure something out with Skype or something. The three of us could talk.
Yeah, dude. Do you know how to do that?
No, but I can talk to my buddy. He knows everything.
Yeah, dude. You got to do that because we want to start a podcast on conspiracies and shit.
I jump in on that with you.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely.
So yeah, dude. See what you can look into. About so we're more than two people can go live.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll figure that out. I'll actually just my buddy Clint runs a podcast. I'll talk to him. I'll see what's up. Hell no.
All right, buddy.
He's actually you know who the talk show host Michael Savage. He's on.
What show?
He's on the radio. He does the Michael Savage show.
Oh yeah.
My buddy's his main producer.
All right, cool. Yeah,
So
maybe you're right. Maybe we could do it with Skype somehow. I guess.
yeah, I can't imagine you couldn't. You know what I mean? So
I know there's a way to do it with Google Hangouts, but I just don't know how to fucking.
oh, what if you sign up for Google Plus or whatever?
I don't know. Like I don't know. But I know I've seen videos on YouTube where people are on Google Hangouts and they're all at different locations, but they can all be in the same chat, video chat.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out. I'll figure out.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my boy Chris. He lives in Alabama. I got to know him through the JFK assassination conspiracy, and fucking we've been fucking breaking that down segment by segment and debating it. We got a YouTube page on it.
Do you?
Yeah, we got 3 segments so far. We did the bag that Lee carried into the building. That was the first segment. The second segment was could Oswald have made all those maneuvers around the building in the time that they said he did? The third segment was Daily Plaza, the shots and everything. The next segment we're gonna do once I get these fucking hands out of the cast where I can write and take notes. We're gonna do fucking Parkland Hospital and shit like that. Dallas Hospital,
Yeah.
and then Bethesda, and then we're gonna do Tippit.
You know he was shady, right?
Huh?
You know Tippett was wicked shady. Actually, all that whole fucking police force was wicked shady.
Oh yeah.
Cops. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll figure it out. I'll get that NIST report for you, and then I'll talk to my buddy about getting seeing what we can do for that, because he'll let me know.
All right, pal.
And I'll hit you up tomorrow.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
It was nice talking to you, pal. Good to see you.
All right. Well.